Next event is the C2 1000 meters final, and again it's a mixed bag. We saw last week, Germany's Peter Kretschmer and Michael Müller, who'd been together for 4 weeks, come through against stiff German opposition. What are we going to see today? I think on paper they must be the favourites.
Yeah, up against Benjamin Russell and Gabriel Sevigny, and from Canada, Luca Incolingo and Daniele Santini. They're taking the 3 premier lanes, 4, 5 and 6 into this final. But I wouldn't count out the Uzbekistan, Vadim Menkov and Serek Bebekov.
I couldn't find much about them racing together. Obviously, we have Menkov, who won the Worlds in C1 1000 in 2009, 2010.
You'd think that the power of the man will prevail here, but we'll see.
The Canadians will be good in
these
lane 5. They were at World Cup 1, I think, as well. World Cup 2, and this is their 3rd one.
Yeah, we were talking about Ben and Gabbage, their mates. It's Montemor, they took the bronze medal, and in Duisburg they were 4th.
Yeah, so similar to Mark Aldershaw, 3rd World Cup. Really testing on the form, so hopefully they can get out strong and hold it. It's a little bit easier to keep these boats straight in a pair.
You see Kretschmer in the front of the boat there. He is clearly the Olympic champion with Kurt Kuschella, who apparently didn't do as well as he hoped in the trials. So that's why
we saw Michael Müller in the back there. Yeah.
Well, I say Peter Kretschmer saying last year, I mean, he got some good results and he toyed around in different events, but he said he wasn't really motivated and it wasn't really happening. Then it's clicked with a new partner.
That's brilliant.
Happy to be racing again.
Sometimes that happens. It's one of those things that me and Steve hold pretty close. We're very happy to connect, in the double as we have in the last 8 years of our partnership, and certainly a strength. Sometimes you jump into a boat and it just does not go as much as you want it to. You can see the conditions there just beyond the Canadians. Well, John Spence and Paul Bryant, pretty wild, even for the ducks.
Certainly the roughest part of the course is the start.
Well, they're all safely off.
Great start by the Canadians in the green boat. I mean, Germans, they got similar tops.
All eyes are going to be, I imagine, on lane number 4, which is the German boat, which I mentioned they performed so well together last weekend.
And the Uzbekistanis, Menkov and Murbekov.
Well, Menkov's his calling card is always come and catch me if you can.
Sure, looks like it's the same one here.
Whether he's in his performances, he's dominated also in the C4s and the C1s, and it's good to see him. He's not that old, by the way. He's just been around for an awful long time. It's good to see him still competing at this level.
So, Matt, if you had to choose, would you rather sit on your bum and paddle or balance on your knees?
I play kayak polo quite a bit, and I spend most of my time upside down. I'm not scared of the water.
That's brilliant. Played a bit of that. It's good fun. These guys are running the boat nicely into this wind. It's nice to have a following boat on the side of the course, giving this live footage. Really great justice here to these guys. They've done a lot of work. They want to see how they're racing throughout.
How does it change the
World Cup?
Most venues, there's the coaches who are on their little bicycles going along screaming to make sure they justify their salaries, whereas on here you can't hear anything.
No, it's that far away. It really comes down to the athlete at the end of the day. I mean, the opportunity for our coaches to intervene throughout a race is quite minimal nowadays. Maybe in more domestic competitions, but World Cup, that you don't see nearly as much calling from the side of the course, and I think it is outlawed in international competition. Here in Copenhagen, this lake is quite broad, so most of the watching has been done from hundreds of meters across the lake, and we can only really see the quality as you see on the screen now.
There's a couple of colleagues of mine who are going to be out on the boat for probably 8 to 9 hours, and they're saying pretty much well wrapped up, but they do a remarkable job with the conditions. Anyway, the actual race is the C2 1000 meters. They passed the halfway mark,
the Canadians are up there.
Yeah, Yeah, this is really, really great challenge from the Canadians in the back half of this, and they'll be taking him up to the Germans. I think this will be their third weekend on the trot, so fairly impressive from the Canadians to be touching up the Germans like this.
And they would have recalibrated according to the conditions. They might have changed their paddle length or the way that they paddle. Generally, you want to keep a longer stroke going into the wind to have more pressure on the water, get a bigger impulse on your stroke. Whereas with the tailwind, you really want to get that stroke rate up.
Well, coming with 220 metres to go, it's going to be a close race. There are still at least 3 boats in it. The 2 that you see there from Germany and Canada making their move, and in lane number 8 in the white boat with the black trousers, it's the Uzbekistan team also looking to do something.
Yeah, look, they look really smooth, and they've been up there from the start. They'll certainly be pushing for a medal, and if not, they'll challenge for the win on this probably fairer side of the course.
Could be saying gold medal number 4 for Germany.
Remarkable display. Well, coming up with about 80 metres to go, and there are still 3 boats in it. The Uzbekistan at the bottom of your picture are pushing forward, and they could be leading it at the moment, with Canada taking over from Germany. I think it looks like Germany has spent. Who's going to take the gold? It's Canada. Uzbekistan want it perhaps the most. It looks like Uzbekistan are going to take it. Ahead of Canada, and Germany has spent force this time.
Impressive from Menkov and his partner Murbakov. They certainly have the talent in that boat, and great finish. You can see how pumped he is.
It's good to see.
It is. Warmed into that race very nicely. The Canadians would be disappointed to get that pipped on the line. I thought they had the Germans covered, having been the early leaders, the Germans.
Well, they did.
And yeah.
It often happens when there's a bit of a tussle going on one side of the course. It allows, an outlier to just stick to their race plan and do their own race and not get caught up in that jostling.
Well, that's what we want. We want suspense here.
It's been some really tight racing this morning.
Well, yeah, the last 50 metres, they really decided they wanted it. Look at this when he's won. We had him from here.
I guess the benefit of being in a kayak compared to a canoe is that you can just relax after your race. You don't have to worry about falling out.
Didn't help the French last week in the K2-200.
Confirmation of the result. Uzbekistan take a wonderful gold, Canada take a silver, and Germany take a bronze medal.